Okay.
This quarter, don't forget about the ones that make it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Joe, yes. So, we need to cross off on the mini review. No, I can't find mine, Joe. Which one did we cross off?
It's 9 and 14 on the mini review.
So on the mini review, we're crossing off 9 and 14. Back in the old days, we got through part of chapter 4. We no longer do that. So 9 and 14.
Then on the pre-calculus semester 1 review, it's 3 and 5.
So on the big review, we're crossing off 3 and 5.
And then on the next page after that, it's 3.
So basically, anything that refers to sines and cosines, cross it off. All right, here we go. Find the remainder. How do we find the remainder?
You just add all the big things up, right? Oh, wait, never mind.
I would do synthetic division, I think.
What's the one where you just add up all the numbers? If it's like a high.
Well, you would have to plug in -2 for all the x's. You plug in -2 for the x's and you add all that up.
Oh.
But that's going to be more arithmetic than this is. So do be careful though. Remember when you do synthetic division, you can't have anything missing. So make sure if there are zeros, you're putting them in. All right. All right, I did that so fast, I'm not sure.
That's right.
Nope, that's not right.
That's not
Yeah, let me check that.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay, is that right?
Yep.
So what is the answer? -76. We're finding the remainder, so we just do the division, and that number right there is going to be the
F of
remainder.
-2 equals -76.
Okay? Now, how do you find, there's 3 things here. How do you find a y-intercept?
Plug in zeros to
You
x's.
let x be 0. Okay? So, if I let x be 0, x is 0. No matter what the equation looks like, no matter what kind of function you have, you're going to let x be 0. So, what is 0.8 to the 0?
1.
1. Times 3 is
3.
3. Plus 1 is 4. So we have 14/4 or 7/2. B. They're parametric equations, but it doesn't matter. How do you find a y-intercept? Let x be 0. So if I let x be 0, this is what I have. Right? Which means t is 3/2.
Yes.
But I'm looking for a y. So now what will I do?
Plug that in.
Take that 3/2 and y equals 5 plus 3/2. So 6.5 or 13/2. However you want to express that. That's your y-intercept.
Do you plug in for that with that first equation as well?
Oh, it's the next one, okay.
Do you plug that in for the first equation as well to find x?
X is 0. Okay, and then C. Plug in 0 for x. It doesn't matter. The equations can be any kind of stuff. What am I going to get here? That's going to be -18. How do you find a y-intercept? You let x be 0. And it doesn't matter. That's what you do every time. Every time. Okay, number 3. F of x minus 1. Okay, so how do we find f of anything? what do?
Plug it in.
You plug it in. So we're just gonna plug in x minus one. So we're gonna have 3x minus 1 squared plus 9x minus 1 minus 2. Right? And then I'll start foiling. So x minus 1 times x minus 1. And then I'll distribute. And then I'll collect like terms. And then I'm done. That's it. My job was to figure out what do I get when I plug in x minus 1 for all of the x's. All right, we good there? Oh, here she comes. Can you move your desk for a minute? Like we're just like over there. All right, what's next? Next, where are we? Find the vertex. Okay, who remembers how to find the vertex of a parabola? Remember, an x squared is a parabola? Negative b over 2a. So x equals negative b over 2a. So it looks like x equals 1.
Yes. Wait. Yes.
So
Yes.
Charlie remembered that. Good job, Charlie. If you don't remember that, you're gonna make a note over to the side. X equals negative b over 2a. Now, I need the vertex. The vertex is a point. Charlie's formula gave me the x. How do I find the y? Plug it back in. Is that negative 2 if I put 1 in here?
Yes.
So 3 minus 6 plus 1, yeah, negative 2, so there's your vertex. This one is a solve. So my answer, I'm going to have x equals, so that's what I'm shooting for. All right, how am I going to solve this?
2x plus 1. Oh, 2x minus 1. Wait. It's 2x. 2x plus 1, 5x minus 1.
5x?
Yeah, right? Is that not 5? Or 5, yeah.
That would be 10x.
Oh, wait, I meant to switch. Wait, don't you? No, you can factor. Can you factor? Yeah, my bad. I don't split. My bad.
Okay, that doesn't check.
Yeah. Wait.
I'm confused, Dan.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, you can't you do 5 minus 2 was 3?
5 minus 2 is
2x and
definitely
minus
3,
5.
but you don't have that up here anymore.
Well, I don't know. I forgot.
But you just do
This
quadratic.
doesn't factor.
Yeah, I was gonna say quadratic.
Move the 5.
I said that before.
No,
You did.
no. Kids,
Quadratic formula.
kids,
Bro,
Quadratic.
take it from me. It's a quadratic equation. Use the quadratic. Now, there are times when we have to factor, if we're simplifying, for example, but we're not. We're simply solving. This doesn't factor. You can try it all you want, waste time. It's not gonna factor. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. If you don't know the quadratic formula, that would be another thing to write down. Make sure you know that. So what's under there? 9 minus
31.
negative 31. And of course, we can't have the square root of a negative, so we're going to make that I root 31. And there's your answer.
Do we get any formulas on the final?
Just the formulas you've been given, like PERT and FD and that stuff.
Make sure you know they're like.
Okay, right, oh, here's one recent, write as a single logarithm. So ln something. What is the something? Well, you've got a 7, a Q, and a C. Now, the 7 and the Q are going to be multiplied, and the C is going to be divided. And then we still have to deal with that 2
Goes on the Q squared.
out in front of the Q, so Q squared. Is also one we just did. How are you going to solve that?
4 squared equals x plus
4
5.
squared equals x plus 5. You're doing it. Absolutely. Some of you just stuck a logarithm randomly on the other side and then crossed it out. You can't do that, right? The only way to get rid of that logarithm is to loop-de-loo it. So 16 equals x plus 5 and x equals 11. None, these aren't calculated until we get to number 10. So find a polynomial whose roots or zeros are 3 and 2i. Now, if x equals 3, what factor was that?
Negative.
X minus 3?
Yeah.
Because when you set it equal to 0, you add the 3 over, right? So if x equals 2i, what factor was that?
X minus 2.
X minus 2i.
And x plus 2.
And remember, you can't have just 2i, you also have to have negative 2i, because imaginary roots always come in pairs with their conjugate. So this is going to be x plus 2i. And then we just start foiling. And I always suggest you foil these first. So x squared plus 2ix minus 2ix minus 4i squared. Why is that so good?
Because the i's cancel out.
I
Yeah.
squared is negative 1.
Exactly. So all you're going to have left is x squared plus 4. And then you can just FOIL one more time. Get x cubed, yeah, x cubed, minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 12. How does that look?
Good.
And that's your polynomial with those roots. You should never have an I left when you do this. All the I's should always
What is
cancel out.
number 9?
Number 9 is crossed off.
Oh.
We'll do number 9 next semester. Number 10 is a calculator problem that we just did. So this one should be fresh in your mind.
E to 11 equals 3x plus 4. E represents 4.
So e to the 3x plus 4 equals 11. How are we going to solve this?
E to 11
We're
equals.
going to ln both sides,
Oh, that's easier.
right? And then 3x plus 4 equals ln 11. Now remember, you're solving, so we want to get x by itself. So we'll subtract 4. And then divide by 3.
Isn't that the same thing as just doing e to 11 equals 3x plus 4? Because ln and e are the same thing. Because you would just loop instead of canceling with l.
No, ln and e aren't the same. You can't loop through unless you have a logarithm. There's no logarithm in the original problem. Okay, so ln 11 minus 4 divided by 3. Did you get negative 0.534?
Yep.
If you didn't, try it again. ln 11 close parentheses minus 4 equals divided by 3. Caitlin?
So you can get like a negative and doing element, you can't get a negative and doing a log.
You can't take the log of a negative. That x is an exponent. Can exponents be negative? Yeah, they are all the time. You can't take the logarithm of a negative, okay? All right, list the possible rational roots. Those are the PRRs. And how do we find the PRRs?
First ones of the first and last numbers.
So plus or minus, do not forget that.
1 and 2
Plus
over
or minus.
1 and 3.
2 and 1 over 3 and 1, yep. Now, boys and girls, it says list, okay? No, we're not done. We haven't made a list. The list would be plus or minus 2/3, 1/3, 2 and 1. 2/3, 1/3, 2, 1. That's the list.
We can just do plus minus, we don't have to put we don't have to individually
Plus or minus
do
is
the-
fine, but these individual numbers need to be listed, you're making a list. Now, the reason this is a big deal is, in, let's say pre-calculus, because that's what we're in, we have academic, AP, and CP, right? There have to be common questions on all the exams. So you're gonna have questions on your exam that are on the CP exam and on the AP exam, okay? The exams aren't the same, a group of questions are the same, okay? This is one of them. So every pre-cal teacher is going to grade this question the same way. When it says list, you're gonna list them or you're gonna lose points, okay? Everybody got that?
Yep.
This is all these guaranteed test questions right here, okay? So you need to make sure you're following the directions here, list. All right, what's next? All right, what formula am I using for 12?
Pert.
PERT. This is a PERT. I know it's a PERT because all of my other formulas are used exclusively for money. This is not money, this is bacteria. So, I am PERT. So 567 equals 123E. Don't forget the E, it's part of the formula. The growth rate is given as a percent. And remember, no percents go into the formula. You have to move the decimal point
Left twice.
and make it a decimal. So 0.112. Now what?
Divide
So
123.
567 over 123, ln both sides. So ln 567 over 123 equals
Divide by
0.112t.
divide by 2.
Divide by 0.112. And we should all get 13.644.
We did our test back before our exam.
We'll get it back on Monday. I got 2 people I haven't they're graded and the grades are in the grade book, but. Okay. Consider the square root function. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's that look like? Somebody draw it for me with your finger. Yeah. Charlie's on fire here. Charlie says, there's your square root function. Okay? Now the picture will answer every single one of these questions. So if you remember the picture, you're golden. What is the domain of that picture?
0 to infinity.
Exactly. I don't know who said that. Good job, Ronan. 0 to infinity. What is the range of that function?
0 to infinity.
Same thing, yep, good job. We're doing great. Now, zeros are x-intercepts, right? So this says zeros and intercepts. Well, the zeros are the x-intercepts. And then, of course, we still have the y-intercept. But look at your picture. Where are the zeros or the x-intercepts? Where are they? At 0. The point 0, 0 is your only x-intercept.
There's a Y none.
Wait, y-intercept?
No,
It's
zero.
also 0. It doesn't this cross the
Oh,
y-axis
yeah.
too? That point serves double duty. We're crossing the x-axis and the y-axis. Would you say that picture, and remember we draw left to right, would you say this thing is increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Increasing, it's going up. Now you have to be careful, because some of the curves do both. Think of a parabola, quadratic. This part of it is decreasing, but this part of it is increasing. So it's possible to have both going on, not here. All right, are there any asymptotes in that picture? No. No. An asymptote is something we get closer to, and we're not doing that here. Is this bounded?
Yes.
Now, it's bounded below, but not above. When you draw that picture, is there like a floor to it? Wait,
Or, yeah.
does it go below this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the x-axis is your lower bound, right, so this is bounded below, that's all you have to say is bounded below. Is there a ceiling to it?
No.
No, because it keeps getting bigger. Okay, so what does bounded mean? If we're bounded below, we have a floor. We don't go lower than that point. If we're bounded above, we have a ceiling. We don't go above that point. Some curves, like the logistic function, are bounded below and above, so they are called bounded. That is a bounded function. This is bounded only below.
So if it's both, we just say bounded.
Yes. All right, 14 we're crossing off. And 15 says we're finding the inverse. Okay, so we're finding the inverse. So the first thing I do is switch my variables.
Yeah, on the floor.
First thing I do is switch my variables. And then solve for y. So multiply by 6, add 1, divide by 2, and the inverse is 6x plus 1 over 2. So those are the steps you need to remember. Alright? Mini review continues on the next page. Write the equation of the curve shown, number 16. Write the equation of the curve shown. Okay. How do we even start? We start with 3 parentheses. Why am I starting with 3 parentheses?
3 points on the
There are
x-axis.
3 points on the x-axis. We call those points zeros or intersects, right? There are 3 of them. So what are my factors then? If
X
I-
plus
Plus 3, x plus 1, and x minus 2.
Exactly, so x plus 3, x plus 1, x minus 2. Right? Now, what's the next thing I have to consider?
Squaring or not
Yeah. Okay, what's the next thing I have to
squared? Squared or
consider?
not squared?
Are they, do they have powers on them? Right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look at my picture. This one has no power. This one is
2.
squared, and this one is squared. And I know that because the curve is acting like a quadratic, it's a parabola, right? It's bouncing. One more thing,
Plug in the
there
kids.
is some number out in front. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to find it by plugging 1 in for x and 10 in for y. So 10 equals n times 4, 1 plus 3. Another 4, 1 plus 1 squared, and a 1. So I put 1 in, and square it, put 1 in and square it. Does that look okay? So 10 equals 16n, 5/8. And so what do you write in the answer blank?
Y equals 5/8 times
This
plus
is
3.
what you write in the answer blank, yeah. The height of a ball above the ground, t seconds after it's thrown, is given by this equation.
Is this calculated?
No.
Where's half of it gonna be?
Yeah.
It's gonna be 2 different.
Two different, just like yesterday. Again, it's just whatever day it was, the last test we took. All right, so here we go. Okay? Find the maximum height. When does it reach the maximum height? Exactly. You guys, this is a t-squared equation. What do squared equations look like? Parabolas. It has a negative in front of it, so it's a parabola that opens like that. We've already done this question
Oh, it's
today
opposite of B of 2.
because we're finding the vertex. It's just a fancy problem for finding the vertex. So how do we find the vertex? Negative b over 2a.
So 2.
So the x coordinate is 2.
Would the X always be the last number?
No,
Because it was for the last one.
okay, that was coincidence. Because if this were a 20, that would still be 2. Because that has nothing to do with that last number. All right, so here we go.
Plug it into the original.
Plug it into the original. So 2 squared is 4 times negative 16 is
Negative 60.
negative 64.
It's 128.
64 times 2 is 128 plus 2.
Yep.
Now, you'll have a baby calculator for this, because I know some of you are like, "Eh," but I think it's okay. Did you get 66?
Yes.
Now, let's answer the question. Find the maximum height.
66.
66 feet. When Does it reach the
2
maximum height? 2
When
seconds.
does it reach the ground? 4 seconds.
No.
Ah.
I understand your logic. The problem is it's not starting on the ground.
Oh, it didn't say that.
Or no, this is the initial height, so it's starting 2 feet
Oh,
above the
yeah.
ground. Yeah, so it's got a head start. All right, now, we got time here. I want you to do 18 and 19 right now with your partner, and then we'll compare, because they are exactly the same, so you're gonna do, as we just did. So do 18 and 19, and then we'll compare.
No.
Thanks.
What'd you get? White was 180.
When it reaches maximum height?
Yes. So we're doing number 19 too?
She said, yeah, you got the 19?
You're doing both of those, Jake.
We should do like some problems before. Like we should all be assigned problems on the partner and do them before.
Data view 1
Yeah, 34, or 1 and 34.
All right, you got them done?
Yep.
All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
How you did? What did you get? I'll just write down, tell me what to write down, and then we'll see if everybody agrees with you. What did you get for number 18? 1/8?
Yeah.
X plus 2 squared.
Oh,
X minus
It's squared, it's squared.
X minus 1.
You guys, you gotta
Did I write that right?
Yep.
No, the order of the factors doesn't matter. These are all multiplied, so they can be in whatever order. Now, we'll look at a couple of things here. First of all, because I haven't done the problem, does it make sense to me if there's a squared on that one and no squareds on those?
Yeah.
Yep. Does it make sense to me that that's a positive number? Yep. Up, that's an even function, positive. So if you agree that number's a 1/8, I think this is right. No question about it?
No question.
Okay. Did you get number 19?
Yeah.
Alright, what did you get as your vertex for number
One,
19? 1, comma?
34.
34. So, answer the questions. When does it reach its maximum height?
1 second.
1 second.
Max
What
height
is the maximum height? 34 feet. Alright, we good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so, now, when you move on to the big review, which is a lot of problems, here's what I want you to do. So you're gonna have 9 minutes now. Anything that talks about an angle, remember, we're not doing it. That's trigonometry, that's chapter 4. So, number 3 and 5, you've already crossed off, and they'll be a couple of Okay, listen, here's what I want you to do now, and you'll do this tomorrow when I'm not here. You will work with a partner. Let's keep it to groups of 2, maybe 3, and let's stay focused, right?
Your number or something?
I do have one in a second. Could change. So, it's not a bad. You will work with your partner. I am going to post the answers so you can check. And then what are we gonna do on Monday when we have our final review time?
Ask questions.
You will say to me, Mrs. Ford, no one in the class knew how to do question 15. We need to do 15. But between all the people in this group, most of the problems you should be able to figure out with the help of each other, right? And then the ones you just can't do, we will do on Monday.
Is it Monday or Tuesday?
Oh wait, I keep saying Monday. It might be Tuesday.
No, it's
No,
Monday.
Wednesday.
Oh, it's Tuesday.
Monday is our review period, Tuesday's exam.
No.
No, it's Wednesday.
Oh, it's Wednesday. Oh, good.
Tuesday is our review. I'm sorry, that's my fault. I kept saying Wednesday, Tuesday. I don't see on Monday. Okay, so Tuesday we have a review for an exam on Wednesday. Okay, so we're clear on what we're gonna do, right? You got plenty of problems to keep you busy. So you can get started right now, working through, and then you'll continue this tomorrow. And then when we all gather, we will
Go over what